Thanks everyone for joining us today. Everyone is, as far as council members are here, except Dale Cox, and he has been is excused. He must be watching us on the internet, because I just got a text when I was walking around and it says, "Brett, sit down." So thanks, Dale, appreciate it. So he is somewhere watching us, but he is excused. Anyway, welcome everyone. We're glad that you're here with us today for our city council meeting. And we will begin by approval or Pledge of Allegiance. And I've asked one of our scouts to lead us in that. Zach Marsh, if you would lead that, gonna do that now, that'd be awesome. Thanks, Zach.
Please arise. Join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. We pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well done, Zach.
Now be seated.
Nice job, Zach. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. You did a great job. We will go to the part of approval of minutes, item 5.2.1 for our meeting April 17, 2018. Are there any questions or corrections on that? If not, we'll ask for a motion.
I'll move approval.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, next we have special recognition, 5.3.1, Murray City Council Employee of the Month, Julie Jackson, evidence technician with our Murray City Police, and that is presented by myself and Chief Burnett. And Julie. Hello, Julie. Come on over. This is one of my favorite people in the world.
You're mine too.
She's awesome. And she asked me if she could take about a half hour to talk to you, and I said, no, we don't know. Oh, yeah. Everyone that's left that knows Julie, that she's probably going like, get on with it, Brett. But anyway, Julie, we're excited to do that. We started this program probably around 6 years ago, and it's been a great program that the council's been able to recognize employees for their hard work. Julie, you've been with the city how many years? 20 years. 21 years. Is that right? 20, almost
20
going
and
on.
a half.
20 and a half. We round up. Yeah, we round up. Now our financial director rounds down, but we round up. Okay. Anyway, I know Julie is a dedicated hard worker, and like I said, I've been on the council about 6 years, and it's been really fun to visit with Julie, and always friendly and welcoming. So, Julie, we as a council again, we present you with this certificate.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and then we'll have your name on the plaque back there for the next 100 years, and so that's going to be there. As long as Craig's here, and and then we have this for you, and we have a $50 gift certificate, or it's a cash card for you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And then, but just again, as a council, Craig's going to say some things, but as a council, we appreciate our employees, and specifically today, Julie, for all you do. So thank you so much.
Just want to take a minute and just kind of let you know what about Julie. Those of you who don't know what she does, so she's been here, hired on in 1997. To me, that's 21 years ago. Aren't we in? Yeah. I go to school here. You know, my math isn't always. But after about 3 years, Julie, she hired on as working in our records department, and after about 3 years went moved into evidence as our evidence custodian. And to explain what that is, she is responsible for every piece of property, every piece of evidence that comes into the police department. She has to catalog it. She knows where it's at. She has storage in this little teeny area up behind my office that she does miracles with as far as being able to store things there, or down in the Sallyport with larger items, or in other places. But she has to know where this is. She has to track it. And this is everything from stolen or found bicycles to guns and drugs and money and homicide evidence. All these things that if there's not some trail or and be able to show where it's been and who's touched it, it could cause all kinds of problems in court. We've never had a problem. It's one of those things that could give a police chief gray hair. Is worrying about what goes on in our evidence room, and I don't worry about it because Julie is very professional, always has been, perfectionist, and she's more than deserving of to be recognized for the job she's been doing and continues to do so. Thank you.
Julie, did you bring anybody with you, or you
Introduce your family.
just have them stand and just introduce them real quick?
This is my daughter-in-law, Jan, my son Steve, and my granddaughter, Audrey. And we have a little one.
Coming, huh? I love it. She can tell. Well, it's all over the internet, so that is not a secret anymore, Julie. Thank you, Julie. We appreciate all that you do for us, so thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item 5.3.2, consider a joint resolution of the mayor and municipal council of Murray City, Utah to designate and support May 20th through 26th, 2018 as Emergency Medical Service Week. Mayor Camp.
Thank you. Before I get up and read the resolution, I'd like to invite Battalion Chief Chad Pasqua to come up and talk a little bit about EMS Week, and he also has a video presentation that he'll introduce. And the theme of Stronger Together this year is really reinforced by this video that we'll get the opportunity to see. So, Battalion Chief Pasqua, would you come up and make a presentation?
So as the mayor said, every year the EMS Week has a different theme, and this year is Stronger Together. And I think by this video we're going to show in a little bit, it really shows that. Every call we go on starts, there's a lot of people that come into play on it. When it starts with our dispatchers to EMS professionals to other police departments, fire departments, and we all work together, especially Murray Fire. We work well with everybody. I want to go over just a few highlights we had this year that we've done. So we're carrying, with the help of our medical director, Dr. Ballas, who we'll talk after a little bit, we're carrying 2 medications that not every fire department carries, just to keep our service level high. We're carrying a medication called ketamine, which helps with some mentally ill patients, as well as some pain management. And then we also are now carrying Ativan, which will help with seizures, as well as some mental health issues. We just took possession of our second refurbished ambulance. So in 2008, we initially started ambulance service, and we refurbed our second one, which means we take that patient compartment and put it on a new chassis, and then we have a new chassis, and that saves the city about $60,000. Another thing that we're working on with the police department in the theme of Stronger Together is our RTF, or our Rescue Task Force teams. So what that is that if there ever is, we're preparing for if there ever is an active shooter incident, where we can go in with the police department as they're escorting us to provide patient care and treatment to people that are potentially hurt. So that's a really exciting program that we're doing. Just a couple recognitions I'd like to give before we start with the video is Nick Haskin is one of our paramedics. He was recognized by Utah Valley University as one of our outstanding paramedic mentors. Next week, as the mayor said, is EMS Week. Paramedic Jake Christensen is being recognized by St. Mark's Hospital as EMS Provider of the Year, which is really neat. And also just a reminder, Saturday, May 26th is our barbecue, our annual barbecue. Everyone's invited to that. We'll do hamburgers and hot dogs like we do every year. And that'll be at Station 84, which is at 163 East, 59 South. So I think we'll show the video, and then we'll just close with our medical director. I'd like to say a few words, if that's okay. But I really do feel this video was put on by Red Cross. The mayor was present at this when we received the award, and it really showed. It really does show the cooperation between the fire department and police department. Thanks, Tim.
I wasn't actually working patrol that day. I actually teach the DARE program, and so I'm not even assigned to the patrol division. But as I was leaving my, teaching duties that day, I saw this call come in on the screen, somebody threatening to jump off the overpass. And I had just a personal inclination that I felt that I needed to go down there. Maybe I would be able to help him in some way. As I'm arriving, he wasn't quite yet over the overpass, but as soon as he saw me pull up, he very quickly went behind the safety fence, and if he were to fall, he would actually be down onto the 215 roadway.
It was obvious he was afraid. He wanted us to stay away, and he continually said that he was going to jump. I spoke with Officer Gutierrez, and of course, knowing that he was armed, asked him if he would be willing to go with fire personnel up in the ladder truck because this was a very dangerous situation.
Without hesitation, I said, of course, I'll do it. We went up, approached the subject, and this is when he got really agitated, and this is when I noticed that he had a small kitchen knife.
He began to threaten himself with the knife, hold it up to his neck, wave it around. At one point, he did cut himself on the arm. Pretty good laceration that started bleeding.
Steve Roverson was also in the bucket as a bucket operator. He figured out how to move the bucket without making noises.
We were kind of playing a little trial and error. Once we turned that speed control down to slow, that engine noise wouldn't raise up and he wouldn't hear us. So we put it down on the slow speed and just inched a little bit here and there when he was focused on interacting with the police officers. And when he turned around, we put our hands up, acting like nothing happened.
I couldn't believe how slow it went and how quiet, because normally that's a very loud piece of machinery.
Myself and Officer Brummer, we were able to jump on top of the fence and lean over to grab a hold of him. He was holding the knife at the top of the fence, and I was able to grab a hold of that knife and remove it from him.
So we sped up the bucket. Abraham said, grab him, and we just ripped him back in the bucket. Steve Roverson had another paramedic hand him a new protocol medication that we can use for sedation. Well, needless to say, the medication worked pretty dang good and put him out within a couple minutes.
After we got back down from the fence and he was lowered down safely, and we were talking about it, I realized I had received a slight laceration to my forearm that was quickly wrapped up.
We got him out of the bucket safe, got him in an ambulance and took him to the hospital.
I'm proud of my guys every day, especially on this day, because they risked a lot to save a lot, and I'm proud of them for that, and they did act bravely.
The fact that they're able to and willing to go to a dangerous situation without being armed with any type of weapon, it was great. It was great.
We work side by side with these great officers. I love them to death, our police department. And we work really well together.
Thanks. That was a really great call these guys went on. Great example of stronger together. And I know our medical director, Dr. Adam Ball, would like to say a few words.
Thanks, Chief Pasco. It's an honor and a privilege again to be here again this year. This is an important time when we have an opportunity to honor fine men and women of the Murray Fire Department and our EMS crews. I have a T-shirt that I own that says, "Believe in Heroes." I count each one of the members of the Murray Fire Department as a hero. They are a hero to this community, and they are a hero because they care about each member of this community. As Chief Pasco mentioned, we are not satisfied with the status quo. We are dedicated to providing cutting-edge treatment, medications, training, and education that will save the lives of our community members and ensure that they are safe and protected. As the theme has already been mentioned,
stronger together, I want to read a little excerpt that appears on the EMS Strong website. And this is a campaign to honor and dedicate and celebrate our EMS personnel every year. It says, "Your dedication to improving the lives of others is a hallmark of the EMS profession, but we can only do so much individually. The truth is, we're at our best when and because we work together with our EMS service with neighboring departments, hospitals, and other healthcare providers, responding and providing care side by side with countless hours of preparation and training will impact the lives of our patients, their families, and our communities. It's about so much more than lights and sirens. It's about giving the most of ourselves in the name of helping others. It's about being there for people when things go wrong and doing our part to help make sure things go right. It's about supporting each other when things get tough and being there for our communities when they look to us for help. It's about being in service to others every day. Every day you're called upon to help others through one of the most frightening times of their lives. Every day you're called upon to provide a sense of security and a relief during chaotic and challenging situations. Every day you're called upon to do the work that only a select few can do. Every day you're chosen to answer the call of a career that demands passion, purpose, and heart from all those that wear the uniform day in and day out. I honor these remarks, and I honor this next week, and I appreciate the Murray City Council recognizing this week every year, and I honor this week to our Murray City Fire Department personnel.
Thank you, Dr. Balls, for those words, and Chief Pasqua. Thank you, Chief Rodriguez. As a 31-year veteran of the fire service, I'm very pleased to read this resolution this evening to recognize Emergency Medical Services Week. This is a joint resolution of the Mayor and Municipal Council of Murray City, Utah to designate and support the week of May 20th through 26th, 2018 as Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical service teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness and injury, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of emergency physicians, emergency nurses, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, educators, administrators, and others, including police, and whereas the members of the emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. And now, therefore, be it resolved that in recognition of this event and of all those who serve in emergency medical services, I, Mayor Blair Camp, and the Municipal Council of Murray City do hereby proclaim, designate, and support with much appreciation the week of May 20th through 26th, 2018 as Emergency Medical Services Week. And we encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities while remembering to thank those who are called to serve in so great a capacity, sometimes at their own peril. Also, everyone is welcome to meet the proud members of the fire department at an open house on Saturday, May 26th at Station 84 on 163 East, 5900 South between 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for a tour and a free hamburger or hot dog lunch. And that is the resolution.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate it. Or Chief. I called the mayor Chief. Well, you know, he used to make me call him Chief, so I'm kind of used to it. He says, I'm your commander-in-chief. Anyway, so...
I still answer to that.
Anyway, thank you to both of you. So we present that to the council. For have any questions or a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution to designate and support May 20th to the 26th, 2018 as Emergency Medical Services Week.
I'll second.
Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Thank you. And I would like to present this resolution to Chief Pasqua.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Also, just want to comment that that many of our first responders are here this evening. Thank you for being here. If you're not standing, will you stand? And
that's cool.
Accept another round of applause. Come on, Steve. You're going to make me have you stand all by yourself?
He's Robbie's like a movie star, so he's
off the clock. I also want to just say how fortunate we are to have Dr. Balls as our physician, our paramedic advisor. He's absolutely amazing. So thank you, Dr. Balls.
All right, thank you so much. We appreciate all that you do, and again, thanks again, Mayor. Thank you. Okay, next, we'll move on to item 5.3.3. Consider a joint resolution of the mayor and municipal council of Murray City, Utah, to recognize and support the Kids Eat Foundation and to proclaim May 15, 2018 as No Murray Child Goes Hungry Day. Mayor Camp.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple of months ago in the State of the City address, I had the opportunity to mention the Kids Eat Foundation. At that time, though, its amazing founder, Linda Brown, was unable to be here. And so we're very fortunate to have Linda here this evening and recognize her for this great foundation. And I'm going to ask you to come up in just a minute, Linda. This is, you also will notice as you have walked through City Hall, many of you probably noticed the food bins that are out there. We're, as a city, collecting food for the Kids Eat program this week, May 14th through 25th. So encourage anyone and everyone to drop food items off in those bins and or make a donation to the foundation. So I'll go ahead and read the resolution, and then we'll invite Linda to come up. This is a joint resolution of Mayor Camp and the Municipal City Council of Murray, Utah, to recognize and support the Kids Eat Foundation and to proclaim May 15th, 2018 as No Murray Child Goes Hungry Day. Whereas we value every child in our community without regard to race, color, religion, national origin, gender, or familiar or economic status, and whereas we recognize and declare that no child in our community should ever go hungry when there is an abundance of food readily available, and that working together we can ensure that all children are provided with enough to eat. And whereas the Kids Eat Foundation, a nonprofit organization, provides backpacks containing easy-to-prepare food and snacks for children to take home for the weekend, as otherwise they may not have enough to eat until they return to school on Monday. And whereas the Kids Eat Foundation provides 300 backpacks full of food each week, with 200 of those being distributed through the Boys and Girls Club of Murray and at our local schools. And whereas the cost for Kids Eat Foundation to provide food for the backpacks is approximately $7,000 per month, for which they rely solely on generous donations of food and money. Excuse me. And whereas Murray City is pleased to participate in a food drive from May 14th to May 25th with bins located in multiple city buildings to gather donations, all with which will go to Kids Eat Foundation to enrich the lives of local children. And whereas the Kids Eat Foundation is grateful to the individuals and businesses that have contributed to this worthy cause, including Foothill Family Clinic, Chapman Richards Cares, Black Diamond, GBS Benefits, Iolta Trust, Kenworth Sales Trucking, Oz Fine Art Studio, Jeremy and Kirsten Andrus Family Giving Fund, Linda Smart Brown Living Trust, Rocky Mountain CRC, SAI, Salt Lake Magazine, Aetna, and Murray City employees. Murray City welcomes this opportunity to encourage community support of the outstanding Kids Eat Foundation, which provides great benefit for children that would otherwise go hungry and promotes the health, well-being, and future success of the children of in Murray City. And now we, therefore, the Mayor and Municipal Council of Murray City, do hereby proclaim and recognize and support the date of May 15th, 2018 as No Murray Child Goes Hungry Day, and urge our citizens and businesses to recognize and support the efforts of the Kids Eat Foundation and to understand and realize the importance of this organization for the purpose of improving the quality of life for everyone.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions for the Mayor? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I will move to adopt the resolution of the Mayor and Municipal Council of Murray City, Utah, to recognize and support the Kids Eat Foundation and to proclaim May 15th, 2018 as No Murray Child Goes Hungry Day.
I'll second.
Jennifer? Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Council. And now I'd like to have Linda come up. Linda Brown. Please, everyone, give Linda a hand. Let's hold that up and then.
Oh, here we go. Thank you. Thank you. We're only 2.5 years old. And when I started this journey to form Kids Eat with the help of Bob Dunn and the Boys and Girls Club, we were only going to feed the kids at the Boys and Girls Club because that's the only awareness we had of hunger. But as we dug deeper, we found out it was much deeper. And I want to just give you a statistic that may shock you. As I talked to all the school districts to find out just exactly what is that 1 in 5 child, what is that one equal. And every day in this valley, 56,000 children qualify for a free lunch in the 5 major school districts here. I found that shocking and felt compelled to do something about it in our own backyard. In Murray, we had over 2,500 children that qualify every day for a free lunch. And so that's where we started, is in our own backyard. I've been a resident for 45 years in this city. I love it. I want to commend the fire department and our first responders and our police department and those people that take care of us, and for the awards that you got today. It was truly deserving, and I want to salute you for that as well. And I've worked closely with some of you, in particular, Steve Robertson, who came to save me one day when my emergency, I've fallen and I can't get up button went off, and I was just fine. I don't know what happened, but he came to save me, and it was awesome. And we became good friends over that, and I compared all the people we knew together. And so he will be participating in our Sunday spring fundraiser, which is Help Us Bloom. And we auction off a birthday party at the fire department, and so that's always a big hit. So I want to thank the mayor. I want to thank the city council and of Murray for this great privilege and this honor that you've given us today. And with that, I would like to invite you all to our spring fundraiser on Sunday. And if you want more information, please visit us at kidseatutah.org. And I want to thank all the volunteers. We have over 30 volunteers with Kids Eat. We are a full volunteer organization. And please come see us one day. We're just right over there in the Creekside Junior High. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Bob, everyone that participates. I remember last year one of my neighbors called and said, there's a child that isn't eating, and my granddaughter goes to school with them, and they couldn't get any information because it's privacy. And so we sent them to Linda, and they were taken care of. So we appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
Linda, thank you so much for all your service to our kids. We really appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Makes you proud to be a citizen of Murray. Okay, we will move on to our citizen comments. This is where anyone can get up and discuss any concerns they have. You have 3 minutes to do so, and then Jan has a form right here. Jan, wave your hand to have you fill out. You can do that after. And this is not regarding the public hearing regarding the land use that we'll be having in just a moment. So if anyone is interested in getting up, you're welcome to do that. No, Bob, look at him. We love you, Bob.
Well, thank you, Bob Dunn, at 714 Erickson View Circle in Murray. And I just wanted to say, I was hoping Linda would mention this, but I wasn't going to get up here and talk. But Linda also won the Maytag Award for Boys and Girls Clubs of America. And what that is, they do a volunteer. There's 4,000 clubs in the country, and once a year they select 10 different volunteers in a Boys and Girls Club, and that have gone above and beyond, are dependable, so kids will eat. And Linda was the winner this year. And we went to San Diego. She went to San Diego. Maytag paid for it. And you stayed at a beach house, right, and had a great time. So.
Look at her.
But it was really nice reception. And I just wanted to bring that out, that Linda, the city of Murray, actually is represented twice. Art Pasco won this award 5 years ago. So out of the 100 people that have won this, out of a possible 40,000 entries, we've had 2 from the city of Murray. So we should be pretty proud of that. But Linda, with all the work she's been doing, it was a big deal. And they gave her a T-shirt. Was her? They gave her this nice little. They gave her this nice bag, and they're doing this nice reception and food and all this stuff. And I said, Linda, what's in the bag? And it was a Maytag T-shirt. So, but she didn't care. But anyway, I just wanted to also comment just how Murray really is stronger together. And Steve, you've been amazing help in the fire department. And 40 years ago today, I started at the Boys and Girls Club. And I've had the great opportunity to really see it from being a citizen of Murray, working closely with the council and mayor and the employees of Murray City, and then the amazing volunteers we have. And just seeing this city really does. It's a special place and comes together. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob. Sorry, welcome.
I'll do it too beforehand.
You're good. Thank you.
Okay, my wife said 3 minutes, so I've got give me just a second here.
I love it.
Hold on here, 3 minutes. Go. Well, first of all, I would like to say my name is Paul Sorensen. Do you need me to spell it? Sornsen. 6657 South, 630 West, here in Murray, Utah. I've come tonight to kind of help Chief Burnett with his issue with his graying hair that's starting to go a little bit gray and my lack of hair. I would like to try and do something to prevent the need for some emergency responders. A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to participate in an emergency response as my son was pulling out of Murray High School, out of the southeast parking lot, starting to pull out and to make a left-hand turn. And because of an accident that occurred there, I want to bring it to the attention of the council and the mayor to see if there is any way that we can and put in a left-hand turn light for those heading east and west on both of those streets to go north. For the first year or two when I was driving my son to school, there was no way I was going to make a left-hand turn out of there, even if I had to go that way. And the reason why is it takes you 2 or 3 lights as a parent to turn. Oh, by the way, the address on this is 5460. And so on the one corner is the high school, then the dealership, then where all the kids go to lunch when they don't stay at the school, the Jimmy John's, the Pizza Hut, and the donuts. And then on the other corner is, of course, the Enterprise and then the school. That is, at least during the rush hours of school, a unique situation, okay? It's a unique situation. You have a higher number of lesser experienced drivers in that pocket in one area. And they converge, and it's kind of a bottleneck. Not only that, you have these lesser experienced drivers in kind of a dangerous situation. What I would like to see is how the process goes of introducing to see the possibility to at least have that there already are lights helping north and south traffic. It's just the east and west. I was very fortunate. My son, who wants to be an EMT here someday, you should go to the donut thing or the hamburger thing. He jumped out of the car. He was fine. His airbags didn't even go off. And he immediately grabbed his first aid kit and ran over to ask the other person how they were doing. Sadly, that other person was going at quite an extended speed, and basically her passenger hit the windshield, and he suffered a head injury. I would hope that we can take the time to prevent some issues. It's right now a liability to us. The situation would be better if we can see the feasibility. I don't know if it's a county road, a state road, or a city issue, but I would love to go out and take a bunch of pictures and bring in my stick and show it and do whatever we need to spearhead that movement. And I would appreciate it if that's something you would consider. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it.
I'll have to fill the paperwork out in just a moment. My name is Matthew Lolte Hepworth. I live at 1343 East Ashwood Circle. And the reason that I came to the council meeting tonight was I saw that on the agenda there was a mention of the available time, or the times when the Murray Canal Trail was available. And so I'd like to speak to that in just a moment. But before I do, I wanted to mention, and perhaps the mayor and the council members have seen this, there was a really funny cartoon that went around. I'm not sure if it was in the Tribune or where it was, but on this cartoon it showed, it had tongue-in-cheek names for all of the different cities. And we are the IRM, which is the Independent Republic of Murray, which is how our city was described, and that speaks to how responsive the council has been to our city. I think they take a lot of heat for some of the decisions that they make, but two of those decisions are very near and dear to my heart, and really keep me in the city, and one of which I won't go into at great length, was the decision to get onto the Utopia backbone. As a video producer, I send big video files up and down, and with 1,000 megabits per second up and down, I just couldn't do my job anywhere else. It's just fantastic to have that kind of service available. The second thing is the Canal Trail is a wonderful thing, and I want to come back and talk about that at greater length. But I'm what you would call a heavy user of the Canal Trail. I'm on the trail twice, if not 3 times a day, and it's just fantastic. I know it's going to get even better when all of the services are in place. But speaking to the times that make the trail available, on the Wheeler Farm entrance to the trail, there's a sign that says that the hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. I think those are wonderful times. I know that the reason I think those are very, very appropriate times is that now we're in summer, and those are pretty much daylight hours. And which 6 to 10 is great. As the planet tilts away from the sun and it turns into winter again, the daylight hours start to get more constrained, obviously. But for those of us that work somewhat odd hours, even in the wintertime, I think 6 to 10 is a very, very appropriate time. And so with that, I'll say thank you, and I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Matthew. We appreciate you coming in. Are there any others that would like to come on up? Thank you.
My name is Delin Barney. I live at 4902 South Box Elder Street in Murray. I live close to Fifth Avenue, and specifically, and in generally, I'm opposed to eminent domain. Forcing people to sell or leave the property that they own for whatever reason that they do not want to leave. To me, it is an affront to the Constitution, to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and personal property rights. I also want to restate my opposition to a new city hall without the vote of the populace. I'm opposed to any property tax increase, specifically because where I live in a redevelopment area, the money will be going to the redevelopment agency instead of other services. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dylan. Any others that would like to? Okay, seeing none, we'll close that part. Thank you very much. We appreciate your comments.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
I just wanted to remind you that we have some scouts here this evening.
Gosh,
Maybe
yes, thank
like
you.
to
Thank you.
recognize them.
We had so many special recognitions, and I had that down. We'll go to that part right now. Let's recognize the scouts that are here, and if you'll stand and just tell us your name and what scout troop and what merit badge you're working on, and then we'll have your leaders introduce themselves also. So. Great, thank you.
My name is Owen Forrest. I am part of Troop 602. I'm working on the
Thank you.
I'm Zach Mars. I'm part of Troop 602, and I'm currently working on the citizenship event community badge.
Awesome, thank you, Zach. Go ahead.
I'm Logan Sadler, and I'm not exactly sure what my troop number is, but I'm working on the citizenship in the community.
Thank you. You don't happen to eat Girl Scout cookies by any chance, do you? I'm just laughing because your mother sells Girl Scout cookies, and you.
Girl Scout cookies, but I'm horrible about patches on things. So.
I missed you this year, Jackie. Okay, go ahead, the leaders, go ahead and introduce yourselves if you would.
Roger Player, and I'm privileged to be the 11-year-old scout leader with these young men for the Troop 602.
Great, thank you. You're, okay, anybody else?
The supportive father.
The support, I know. Isn't that great? Yeah. And Zach, thanks again for leading us in the pledge. You did great. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Mayor, for reminding me. Chief. Okay, so now he was our chief of police, so it's easy to call him chief. Really? I should have quit while I was ahead, huh?
You never were ahead.
Did you hear him say that? Boy, I'll tell you. One of these days. Okay. We'll now move to our public hearing part of the meeting, and 8.1.1. Consider an ordinance relating to land use amends the zoning map for the property located approximately 4878 South Murray Boulevard, Murray City, Utah, from the CD Commercial Development Zoning District to the RM15 Residential Multifamily Zoning District. Tim Tingy presenting. Thanks, Tim.
Council, this item was considered by the Planning Commission with a public hearing on April 19th, and they forwarded a recommendation, which I'll talk to you about in just a minute. This is the property up on the screen that you see. It's about 3.3 acres of land that's vacant. It's currently commercial development, as you've mentioned. With that, the allowed uses are primarily retail and commercial type uses. You can have everything from office to retail stores, retail businesses, and restaurants and other items. The proposal is consistent with the general plan. The general plan was recently modified, and we have a new general plan last year. This property was looked at very closely because we haven't had a lot of movement on it. There are single-family and also multifamily residential development and properties to the south. You have commercial to the north. And so this area is really designated for, and the future land use has it as medium density residential. So going from retail or the commercial development to medium density includes a variety of elements. The maximum height would be 40 feet. If there is a medium density residential project, it can only go 2 stories if it's a low-rise apartment complex. So there are limits to the density. There is 15 units allowed per acre, but with the amenities and other elements, this property most likely would get somewhere between 36 and 40 units. There's also allowance of single-family residential detached, duplexes, and then through conditional use permits, there's allowance for 3 to 4 plex-type development, as well as townhome, and then the medium-density low-rise apartments could be located there. There is consistency with this in the land use to the south, and there are requirements for parking. There's 2.5 parking stalls per unit if residential is developed. There's also a bed and breakfast allowance for the property as well under that ordinance. So keep in mind, this is not there's no proposal. This is simply a rezone. With that, I'm outlining what is there and what can be allowed now and what can be allowed in the future if you decide to rezone this tonight. The Planning Commission considered this through the public hearing. They provided a recommendation. It was unanimous and they forwarded a recommendation of approval. That's what I'm recommending tonight as well. Happy to answer questions.
Any questions for Tim? No? Okay. I know we have a sponsor here. Do you want to get up or? All right. Thanks, Sean.
My name is Sean Poor. I'm with Brighton Homes, address 215 North Redwood Road, North Salt Lake. I don't have a whole lot to add, being that we're just talking about the rezone at this point and not a potential project for the site. But I do believe this is a good use for the site, as is designated by the general plan, that multifamily would be a low to medium density multifamily would be a successful project here. We have talked with city staff about the future pathway that's going to be going along Little Cottonwood Creek, and we see that as something that could be embraced by whatever project that fits into the multifamily designation there. And we see those as assets, as well as the trail along the Jordan River. Just in perspective, it's the same, I believe it's the same density that is the townhomes just to the south of it there, for an idea of what type of product you could see in the RM15 zone. So,
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sean. Any questions for Sean? All right. Thank you. Okay. We'll turn it back to the council for questions or... Oh, no, public hearing. How about we have that first before we do the meeting? We'll open that for comments. Any comments here for the public hearing on this issue? Seeing none, we'll now turn it over to the council for discussion.
I like the idea that you're entertaining the idea of continuing the trail down along the creek from Murray Boulevard to the Jordan River. I noticed that the back end of that big red line runs right up against the trail as it exits the parking area and starts crossing the bridges. I'd kind of hope to see a buffer zone of some sort so that you're not building right up to the Parkway Trail. You mentioned the townhomes to the south. I know when those were proposed years ago, they put in a buffer zone after quite a few people came out to express concern. I was on planning and zoning back when that happened, and I think they came up with a real good compromise to protect some wetland area, build a nice project, but maintain the integrity of the parkway.
Any other comments? If not, we'll have a motion.
I make a motion that we approve an ordinance relating to land use, amending the zoning map for the property located at approximately 4878 South Murray Boulevard, Murray City, Utah, from the CD Commercial Development Zoning District to the RM15 Residential Multifamily Zoning District.
I'll second.
Jennifer? Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. All righty, we'll go next to 9.1, unfinished business. There's none. We'll now move to new business. 10.1, consider a resolution authorizing and approving proceedings in eminent domain for 3 parcels located at 18 West 5th Avenue, Murray City, Utah. Tim Tingey presenting.
Council, with this item, we have included all the attachments, which includes a memo from myself, a resolution that you're considering tonight related to this item in eminent domain, and also the information that was submitted is including letters, notice letters, and other elements. I want to make sure that the public understands that we have forwarded those on to you. This is an issue that is not an easy issue. We've talked about it before. With the City Council, eminent domain is always a difficult topic. It's something that as we move forward with consideration of eminent domain, we take it seriously and recognize the challenges with that. I do want to emphasize that both the United States and Utah constitutions allow eminent domain, and that is defined as the taking of private property for public use. That's a key component, public use, and it also has to have an element of payment of just compensation. So those are the 2 elements that are really important with eminent domain, just compensation and also using it for public purposes. This area and this property, you see the map here. The parcels are identified in the red. Surrounding the property are properties that the city or redevelopment agency owns at this point. And it's an area that's been designated as a redevelopment area for a long time. There's the need for public improvements in the area, including right-of-way improvements, new roads, also including a new city hall, which we have talked in multiple meetings about the need for that, and this area has been designated as a possible area for that, as well as open space and other public improvements. Those are the items and the elements included in the resolution that the property would be used for if we pursue eminent domain and if the council considers this. Now, related to the property, it is, right now it's 7,400 square feet, about 0.17 acres. There are 3 parcels. I've already mentioned the public uses. We have been working with the property owner in January. We sent a letter with an appraisal that was attached, defining in the appraisal what the value was of the property. Since that time, we've been actively negotiating with the property owner. Have even come to a point where we have agreed on terms for the amount on both sides that would work for a purchase and sales agreement. However, there have been a number of concerns related to the title, and the title not being clear that has been brought to our attention, and we've been concerned about that. For this main reason is that if we move forward with the process, we want to make sure we do our due diligence and make sure the title is clear. We do that on all of our property acquisitions. Our concern is that if the title is not cleared, then we may have the potential down the road of having to pay twice for the property, and we don't want that to occur. So we've been trying to work through these issues. The Strasser organization has as well, and has done a lot of work in that area. They've recently identified a title company that may be willing to insure the property. They've provided that information to us, insure the title on the property. They provided that information to us. We're doing our due diligence with that. Our outside legal counsel, as well as GL and our attorney's office, has been reviewing the documents. We have Jody Burnett here and Mike Carlson that are outside legal counsel. We're reviewing that. So related to the title, there are a couple of tracks that we can take with this. One, we want to make sure that our interest is defined and that we don't have to pay twice for the property. So we're going to continue to work through and see if we can get the title insurance. We still have due diligence related to that. But another way to clear title and make sure we have clear title is to go through eminent domain. That's why we're asking you to consider this tonight. If you consider the resolution, if you adopt it, it means that we have the opportunity to file for eminent domain. We will continually actively work and do our due diligence to determine if we can work through the title issues and not pursue filing of eminent domain. And so that is an option that we have, but we want to move forward with this track, and we're recommending that just because we want to make sure that we have opportunities to clear the title. We like I say, we've been negotiating. We will continue to negotiate and work through that negotiation to acquire and work through the title issues. So based on that information, we will continue to negotiate, and we're recommending approval of the resolution to allow us the opportunity to move forward with eminent domain if necessary. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Tim? No questions? Okay. And then, Tim, will you open?
Yes, let me comment on that. So this is not an open public hearing for the public. Per state code and through the noticing, and Jody Burnett can address this if you want, but this allows opportunity for the property owner or representatives of the property owner to comment on that, and that's what will be allowed tonight, and that's under state law related to that.
And Jill, we do that now? Okay. So representative from the, or Strasser, thank you. How are you?
Hello, my name is Colin Strasser, representing the Strasser Organization, 1935 South 900 East, Salt Lake City, Utah, 84105. This is about the taking of a land that started, I guess the first time was not accurate that I was presented with the first taking action. The first taking action was actually presented with in the same room, some of the council members are the same, different mayor, a lot less people. And that was in February of 2017. And at the time, the council thought it was best to adjourn and not make a decision for eminent domain, as that we could make a deal and we could figure out how to move forward. And pretty much the city, due in large part to Tim Tingey's diligent efforts, have been successful in in acquiring all of the properties except for mine. And it's not really mine in that respect, because as he said, the title issues still remain today. These title issues, however, are minor and really wouldn't affect, I would say, 90% of real estate transactions that occur on a daily basis. I think that it's what the city's asking for was, a bit much, in that they're going to take the land anyway. So it really, is it mine anyway? Is the real question. I guess it's really not. So it's kind of silly when he says pay twice. The only person that is going to receive compensation is the Strasser Organization as the only owner, as well as the only owner that was notified, because I'm the only owner. So the title issue goes down to whether my title was given properly at tax sale in 2015, when the Salt Lake County tax auditor notified the owners at that time. I was not the owner at that point. And so if the question is whether they weren't noticed and my title's not good, then why would those same owners not be notified of today's hearing as it affects them? With that said, I hope that the council does not vote in favor of eminent domain, because there's really no need. I would think the city, and I think the mayor's on board, as we were in a conversation with him about last month, and we set a price, and I think the city's ready to do it, and I think the title insurance is days away. So there's no reason for this. And I don't think the city should ever do eminent domain, and I think they've done a great job of making it so they don't have to. So let's continue down that road that the city council started, the first time we were here. Thanks.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Strasser? Okay, thank you. Any questions for Tim? Come on up. Do you have any questions for Tim regarding this? Go ahead, Tim.
If I may just add, so as far as the notice for this resolution that you're considering tonight, the requirement in state code is that the notice be provided to the owner that's on the county records. We have done that. If we move forward with filing of an eminent domain process, we reach out to all of the other potential entities that have a stake in this property per the title issues, just to clarify that.
Any questions for Tim? Nope. Okay. Thank you. All right. We'll bring the back to the council for discussion. So am I missing something?
Do you want to make a motion? Do you want a motion?
Or if there's a discussion first before, is there any discussion? If not, then we'll accept a motion.
Okay, I'll make the motion. Let's see, I'll move to adopt the resolution authorizing and approving proceedings in eminent domain for 3 parcels located at 18 West 5th Avenue, Murray City, Utah.
I'll second that.
Jennifer.
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Next, 10.2, consider a resolution adopting the tentative budget as amended for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2018 and ending June 30th, 2019, and scheduling a public hearing to receive public comment before the final budget is adopted. Denise Stack. Thank you, Denise.
Thanks. We've done several budget presentations in the past month, so I believe that everyone should be familiar with the tentative budget that you're adopting. We went through a reconciliation process, and we believe that there were no changes. There was a small change. You added $140,000 to the budget for sidewalk improvements, and we have adjusted all of the wages and benefits to the correct levels. So we believe that we have given you a fair and balanced budget and includes everything that we will need for the next fiscal year. And so we're asking you to adopt this amended tentative budget and to set a public hearing for a week before our adoption. So the public hearing would be on June 5th, Tuesday, June 5th at 6:30, at which time you will adopt or listen or receive public comment on the budget. And then we will go through the adoption process on June 12th. Any questions about the resolution or about the budget document that you've received? As well as for the public's notice, the budget document will be online tomorrow morning and available to view. And we have several town hall meetings that will discuss budget impacts as well.
So the final action would be in August, correct?
The budget, the actual budget, the city needs to operate under a budget.
Got it.
So this is a tentative budget. You will adopt a final budget on June 12th, assuming all the numbers are correct. In August, you will go through what we consider a truth and taxation hearing to set the certified tax rate to support the revenues that we have budgeted. If you choose something different than that rate or revenues, then you will need to amend the budget in August.
Okay. All right. So there would be an activity following these town hall meetings?
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
Any other questions for Denise?
No, just thank you for being so thorough. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Denise.
Thank you, Denise. Okay. We'll turn it to the council.
I'll make a motion that we adopt a resolution adopting the tentative budget as amended for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2018 and ending June 30th, 2019, and scheduling a public hearing to receive public comment on June 5th, 2018 at approximately 6:30 p.m. Before the final budget is adopted the following week.
I'll second that.
Jennifer?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Okay, now we'll turn time over to our mayor for his report.
Okay, thank you. I just have 2 things, additional things this evening. I'm very happy to report this one. Due to the work of our staff and attorney's office, the bonding company for the contractor that worked on our pickleball courts has agreed to allow us to finish the work. So there will be a drinking fountain installed this week. The lighting should be completed next week. So
great.
Long time coming. And also, just wanted to remind you that the city is hosting, again, an e-waste and document shredding recycling day on Saturday, June 9th. Have an opportunity to remind everyone about that again at the next meeting, but it'll be from 9 to 11 a.m. at the Public Services Building. And this event's open to all Murray City residents, so a good opportunity to get rid of all that you thought was the latest and greatest technology that you bought last year. Okay, you have a place to get rid of it. So, and that's all I have tonight.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Any questions for the mayor? Okay, if not, thank you for coming. We're adjourned.